Welcome to Friday, the third day of February, 2023. This Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Check them out at cowboystatedaily.com. Also being brought to you by WYDOT. Remember, when there's ice and snow, take it slow. As we head to the weekend, we're going to continue with our moderating temperatures. This is compacting the snow and helping out with the blowing and drifting. And today's mild temperatures will do that again some more. However, it's still going to be windy. We still have a strong jet stream wind aloft, and although the winds aren't going to be as bad as they were earlier in the week, they're still going to be persistent and gusty, especially out in the open areas. But these are winds that will induce the Chinooking effect, that downhill moving wind that brings warmer temperatures, especially east of the divide. We'll have a Pacific cold front come in quickly late Sunday night into Monday. That'll bring snow to the high country. Little bit of snow shower activity on the plains. It's not a major system, but it will bring colder temperatures back into the area next week. And next week looks chilly. It looks like just kind of a average February week of chilly temperatures. There'll be a couple of weather systems to contend with. They don't look big, but we'll have a couple of systems, one midweek, and maybe another one late next week. They don't look to be major, but they'll keep the weather pattern active. Bigger chances for snow and possibly maybe some pretty cold air again may return the following week, right around or after that Valentine's Day time period. We may very well see the Arctic cut loose again, something to keep an eye on as we get to the middle of the month. Wanted to show you a couple of satellite photos because they're quite remarkable. Yesterday, while we had clear skies across the region, this is a visible satellite photo. So literally, this is like a satellite just with a camera taking a regular picture. All the white you see there is snow. Yeah, there's a few clouds in there, but essentially this will show you how extensive the snow cover is in the west. This is centered on Wyoming here, but you can look into the surrounding states and you can see the mountains sticking up, like the Wind Rivers, the Black Hills, the Snowy Range, the mountains of Colorado, mountains of Utah. This is an amazing amount of snow cover. Yeah, you expect that in the winter, but to have it this so continuous and so deep, especially across the plains, is quite impressive. And for those of you who are in the middle and around the edges of this snowfield, you certainly know how much there is. Now let's take a little bit of a wider perspective, and you can see how extensive that snow cover is. Down from southern Colorado, across this area right here, north of this line, this is all snow cover across the region. And even going back, that's the snow in the Sierras. Look how much snow's on the ground back here into the Great Basin. And that's one reason why temperatures are going to be still on the colder side of normal, west of the divide into the basins and valleys of the west slope of Colorado, into Utah, Nevada, into the Snake River Valley of Idaho. You're just going to trap that cold air and keep it in the lower basins. Look at the snow in the mountains of northern Arizona back into northern areas of New Mexico. Just snow everywhere. If you want to know how the winter has gone so far, so if we basically go from November 1 to yesterday, this is the winter temperature anomaly, meaning has it been a colder than average winter or a warmer than average winter? The white means spot on average. The yellow, the orange means temperatures have been above average, and the blue obviously representing the cold. So you can see that over the last 3 months, if you add all the days together, how cold it's been in the western United States. And I think this is exactly the pattern that'll go through February and into March and probably into early April, where of all the U.S., that'll be the coldest relative to average. It'll be right here. We're kind of ground zero for it. I don't think the pattern is going to reverse itself anytime soon. So we're going to have more cold to contend with. As we go through today, though, high pressure right over the Four Corners area. It's still going to be a little bit breezy with these strong westerly winds aloft, but this is certainly a more mild weather pattern helping to compact the snow. You're hearing about it on the news already. The Arctic outbreak, the very, very cold air coming out of western areas of Hudson Bay into New England and into parts of the Northeast and Great Lakes. Going to see some very cold weather today and into the weekend in this part of the nation right here, more than they've had all winter, while we finally warm up. And there you can see, this is the temperature anomaly forecast by tomorrow morning. So you can see the cold covering New England, the cold across most of the southeast, south central areas of the United States. But you can see the oranges popping up along and east of the Continental Divide with our Chinook. And then you can see the cold air trapped here in the western basins and valleys west of the divide. Precipitation-wise through Sunday, we're going to see central and northern California, Washington, Oregon, and Idaho get into some rain and snow again. We do see precipitation returning to California and the West Coast. Not at the levels that we had earlier, but starting to get more busy again. But you can see how it's gotten a lot more quiet weather-wise. Just a big swath right here of not much going on over the next 3 days until you get closer to the coast. As we get into Sunday night, Monday, that West Coast system, it's a bit fractured, a bit disorganized, but it does come in, and this is going to produce a bit of moisture. You can see along and near the Continental Divide, there's going to be some snow. Not a lot of it, but over the next 4 to 5 days, this is what the snowfall forecast looks like. Mostly centered over the higher terrain, not much on the plains. Then as we get towards, this is Thursday of next week, there's a lot of L's out there. We got a system that may be swinging through the Midwest. Another one, kind of a fractured system coming into the Rockies. So not very well organized storm systems, but enough to keep us cool, keep the weather pattern unsettled, and keep us guessing. Then this goes all the way out to right around Valentine's Day. Notice the area of blue and gray up here. This is another concentrated area of Arctic air, and we have a situation where winds aloft may very well be coming in from the northwest, and you guessed it, opening the door to Canada again. And look at the cold. Now, whether or not this transpires or not, we'll see. But this is right around the middle of February. So we have potentially Arctic air potentially coming back in, overspreading a large part of the central and western United States. So does Mother Nature maybe have one more Arctic outbreak enter during the month of February? It gets really hard in March to have Arctic outbreaks like this. Not unheard of, but the odds of them go down. But certainly the month of February could, well, throw another surge of Arctic air back into North America again, and we'll be watching that towards the middle to the end of the month. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.